Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together and pass it on to the next generation. The content that I'm going to show you tonight is what a inspired coach of the San Antonio Spurs said around your Second Amendment rights. Did you know that it's a myth? It's not real. It's simply a control mechanism. Yeah, we're going to dive into that. Everything is linked in the description box below, and I cannot wait to hear from you guys on this one and send this one out because wow. And if you are new or you're a returning viewer, please consider hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel, and making sure you turn the notification bell on. Every single one of you can help us pass the blessing of the Second Amendment along to the next generation, and starts with that subscribe button, and thank you so much for your consideration. And the content today is brought to you by a tactical pen by Atomic Bear. This thing is cool. It's made of weapons grade plastic, or polymer as you would say. It has a glass breaker on the back. It writes like a normal pen, has self-defense capabilities, and deploys like a bolt action. This thing is really cool. It's something that you can get 15% on, which is in the discount in the description box. And thank you so much to Atomic Bear for making this content possible. Now, my brothers and sisters, before we dive into this and I get you all flustered and furied, I want to say to each and every one of you, I hope you had a wonderful Easter. Happy Easter to all, but let's get into this because we have got to dive into this because, again, this speaks to something that's bigger because this coach, quite literally, is an amalgamation of all the leftist talking points and he's read and been indoctrinated on clearly for quite a while because he spews out these points and I'm about to refute each and every one of them really easily. Let's dive into this so you can share this great stuff amongst your friends, family, and those that you love. Spurs, Greg Popovich makes plea for tighter gun control and likens the Second Amendment to a myth. Let's dive in more because there's a lot of things that this is just begging for an explanation. Popovich spoke to the media before the team's game against the Dallas Mavericks. Media is involved. Shocking. The outspoken coach spoke for more than 9 minutes, calling for tighter gun laws in the United States, as well as addressing the Tennessee state lawmakers who voted for the expulsion of 2 state representatives. Now, again, this is the part where the left just starts spewing. Listen to the first thing they said, and then I'm going to get you into where this falls apart dramatically. If you're a Republican, pay attention to this. It's not hard to lay this. All right, let's get it. Quote, we've got 2 young black guys in Tennessee who just got railroaded by a bunch of people that I would bet down deep in their soul want to go back to Jim Crow. Interesting how one specific talking point of one specific political philosophy continues to bring up that exact same reference point from the president on down to the acolytes like this guy. Specifically around the fact that that's slander and you can't really verify that that's the entire point because you're just deciding that that's what you think. Yeah, you just did that in public. Republican lawmakers, enjoy your lawsuit. But let's continue. Popovich said, quote, and what they did is just a good start. It's beyond comprehension. And what were they guilty of? They actually protested. Now, he's talking about the Tennessee lawmakers who got expelled for leading a protest from the House floor of Tennessee. Again, it's not about the rules that you broke. It's not about the consequences of your actions. No. Their heart was in the good place and the ends justify the means. This is something that is consistent across the left, from gun control all the way to every other pillar of the left. But here's where it gets into the really sticky point about the myth of the Second Amendment. Check this out, and then we're going to tear this asunder. He likened the Second Amendment to a myth. Quote, but they're going to cloak all this stuff in the myth of the Second Amendment. The freedom, he added. You know, it's just a myth. It's a joke. It's just a game they play. That's freedom. Is it freedom for kids to go to school and try to socialize and try to learn and be scared to death that they might die that day? Of course it's not. Let's solve the problem right now. I have a solution that could happen immediately. For example, anyone else find it odd that they can find billions upon billions of dollars to be validated and passed into law to go across the country, across the globe, to fund wars we aren't even involved in? You can find billions of dollars all of a sudden to bail out bankers whenever they make a mistake that is a free market mistake. You can find billions of dollars to supply people rent and everything to stay in their homes when you shut down things. But all of a sudden, when it comes to supporting the safety of what you call a national epidemic of gun violence, all of a sudden, we're on a budget. Anyone else find that ironic? Let's continue, because this part We've got a solution, and they're ignoring it, and they're leaving the vulnerable parts vulnerable to push their political propaganda. Check this out. Quote, but Ted Cruz will fix it because he is going to double the number of cops in schools. That's what he wants to do. Well, that'll create a great environment. Is that freedom? Or is it freedom to have a congressman who can make a postcard with all his family holding rifles, including an AR-15 or whatever? Is that cool? Is that like street cred for a Republican? That's freedom? That's more important than protecting kids? I don't get it. You see what they did there? And this is the important part. This is the part I need you to spread out. In one breath, you're leaving them vulnerable. How could you not do this? How are Republicans so evil? In the next breath, when the Republicans say, well, let's guard them. Let's print out billions of dollars. Let's put bills out there to actually protect the students who are vulnerable while we sort this problem out. Well, what kind of environment is that? That's not an environment for learning. You see it? They're not going to be happy because you aren't providing a solution that they want. They're not happy when you provide a solution, again, not that they want, because the only solution that they have in their mind is to ban an entire amendment, because it's a myth, out of your Bill of Rights, which is equal to the freedom of speech, of which he is using to bash the Second Amendment and anyone who would agree to back it up. And the whole point is his rights are protected by that exact same amendment. The fury that this can cause, because it's blatantly obvious to see what they're doing. You're doing nothing. Here's an idea. That's not what I want. That's a terrible idea. What kind of environment would that make? You just spent the entire previous paragraph saying how they need to have an environment of safety so they can socialize and learn. I agree completely. Let's guard them. What kind of environment is that? And that's what I've got for you, and that is where it falls short. Everything is linked in the description box below, and I cannot wait to hear what you guys think about this one.